think is 5G towers is called ELF towers,
Low frequency towers.
extreme low frequency. And these been used in our communities since the 80s to
Mm.
disrupt us from being able to have clear thoughts in stressful situations. And
Mm.
you can see the parallel of the crime rate rising, the change in the tone and the music and all that from the time they added them in there.
Mm-hmm.
As they attacked harder, our music became more confrontational and combative. But when they couldn't figure out what the root cause of them, it turned into mumble rap,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they discovered that it was an artificial system at work, then they went to auto tune. The hip hopper's been telling us the whole time, but we still have to know how to read our culture in order for it to even make sense. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of gibberish that the rappers is talking and killing each other. They dying for a reason because we at war.
Got war.
All, all of them that they think dead ain't dead, right? And some of them walking around look living is dead on the inside.
Yes.
Them the ones that was doing dirt, right? Some of them went in for selfish reasons and did dirt, and some of them went in to use the cover of entertainment, like an E40, to make chiefs put down a war with each other so we can properly face the enemy.
41.
They use the entertainment like ODB, right? Play like you crazy, but tell the people the truth. Chief Crazy Horse.
Mm.
I watched the interviews with him.
Hey, look, remember I be telling everybody they look like us, but they ain't us.
Yeah.
He got a song called Shame on a Nigga for trying to run game on a, right?
Mm.
In his concert, you can look this up on TikTok. ODB is explaining exactly what I've been telling people about the war we was at in that song's description. And he said, when I say shame on it, I'm talking about the ones that look like us, that want us and all of the pale folks to go to war with each other while they stand back and reap the reward.
Mm.
He said, but we see them now.
Yeah.
They're not his exact words, but if you listen to it, you understand what he's saying. And he told his mama, he said, I'm getting my family's stuff back.
Mm.
That means that this is a competent, alert chief aware of his Shinnecock heritage and the necessary team to join with these outlaw tribes that don't got no treaties in order to get the imposters on the land. What Pac say? If this checkmate was 3 years ago, right? He say they came to bring trouble and disruption. We came to bring change and prosperity to our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Prodigy, I said that's why Prodigy called them Black Devils, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See you too, Black Devils.
The native New Yorkers that's from the tribes, they know where the enemy at. They don't say nothing though. You hear the mumbling in New York about them niggas that live upstate in them gated communities. They whisper about them in the underground in New York. They just don't talk about them in the open because they know who they is. They look like us, but they ain't us, and they've been the enemy the whole fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah, just like you. Got you.
It's them design this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep, more Zionists and Leo kids. Stinking bastards.
CNAI. I was watching the other day. I was watching one of your old shows in
That's
when
where
you
they
said
go.
they're from
Doing
Zion is
stuff.
sin AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mountain of sin,
Mm-hmm.
and they call everybody else sinners.
Yeah, but you see, that's because they got us under a system called Babylonian magic. The Babylonian magic is divided into three parts: blood magic, sex magic, and money magic. And they use it to subjugate large groups of people. As long as they was doing their bloodletting rituals with slaughterhouses and stuff, that's not how we killed our food. We didn't have slaughterhouses, right? But they wanted to mechanize everything to maximize the profit and to be able to make us pay in multiple levels of production. It was a brilliant war strategy, and it's impressive to a person who studies warfare. But to the average person, it's just pure out painful and miserable, right? So you have to be looking at it not for it not to affect you emotionally. You have to look at it like a military general saying, "Who put this strategy together?" This shit wicked.
It is, but it's logic, though. I mean, if like you said in war, it's logic, though.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So when all they was doing was organizing resources in order to make us move in the direction of the resources. They needed us off the farm, so they started creating an industrial revolution to get us into factories. And factories is going to have a limited lifespan because of the nature. It's going to evolve. It's going to expand real big. Then it's going to automatically start to downsize itself by nature, because it has to be a more efficient mechanism in order to survive. And when you put a group of people together, they create that life energy that brings that workforce factory life alive. So now you harnessing their energy under the pretense of working labor. Their labor exertion is how you calculate their value. If you need 50 men to move something for 4 hours, you know how much exertion it's going to take, how many calories they going to burn. Therefore, you can measure it like gas in the car. And if you don't know what you're worth, the company not going to never give you what you're worth. But as soon as you discover your true worth to the company, now you got a negotiating tool that they can't dispense with. Right? Because you know how they calculate your labor now. Right?
Calculated like electricity, right?
Yep. Yep. It's calories burned per hour.
Wow.
And they know every job requires this much exertion based on the metrics of the tools used. It's brilliant, man. It's fucking brilliant. And the sad part about it, though, is a lot of intelligent people can't see it. Right? Like, none of the union officials for none of the unions is active on the land right now, whether they the workers union, aeronautical, and space. They don't really know how the company decides the value of the operation. Therefore, they don't know their value. The company's going to always shortcut them. They're not going to never offer you a reason that you a sharecropper. So imagine how much you really worth if they're giving you $100,000 a year with no problem and no complaint. How much are you really worth to them if they're willing to freely give you $100,000 for your services?
They never tell you the capital profit, so you wouldn't really know.
Well, they got to report their profits.
Oh.
All that's on the record.
Oh.
But see, the people who's responsible for making sure that the worker get paid his just due is on the payroll of the enemy. taking bribes and kinds. So people ain't gonna never get no proper representation.
Yeah, never get.
They
Never
know how
get.
to take over for themselves.
That's for sure.
You should be able to negotiate, right? I mean, all contracts is negotiable, right?
Yeah, right. And if you come with a reasonable renegotiation, you can interrupt the contract for a renegotiation. Like, it's got to benefit the other party though, right? But it also, you can get a benefit too. So now you're looking at negotiating on the basis of you win, I win, a synergy approach. That's the wisest way to interrupt an active contract. If it's only going to benefit you, the other person going to refuse to acknowledge the interruption. Continue with the contract until the contract concludes. Then we renegotiate at the end, bring it to the table at that point. But if you come in giving the other party something they can benefit from, and then you taking the benefit that they don't think is abusive to the nature of the contract, then they'll go along with the interruption in order to negotiate this deal. You know, it's business 101. It's just basic strategy.
Yeah, this is just the most people don't know.
And that's what was killing us. Well, we didn't know how they was doing stuff. See, they was blocking the institution out using a brown paper bag test. If you couldn't pass the brown paper bag test, you can't get an education. You can't get a loan. You can't get a grant. You can't get government services. This is how you create the artificial construct of white supremacy. All the time, it's a cover story.
Just to keep really your brain from being able to process, to be able to function on the level where you can move through the system.
Right. So the one question I kept asking, if I was God, why would I let this happen? Right. And then you realize that in your whole life form, you don't got no emotions. And we wanted to experience the lower level from being on the bottom. That's why we chose to be last, because we can take it. We the old souls strong enough to endure to the end, while we allow the cleanup from somebody else's fuck up in genetics, experiment with people in laboratories and shit. And they was throwing people away like trash. And the Queen of Heaven and Earth wasn't buying it.
That's crazy.
So she said, I'm gonna go take a break. Y'all clean this shit up. When I get back, my house better be ready to be properly put in order. So she left her throne.
That's crazy. That's man. How do you I know you gotta go. How do you feel about, because some of the messages in the Bible, I forget what verse it was. It was saying something like how you just said that. It said God had gave, since the kids, something like about like the kids didn't want to listen, so the God had gave them reprobate minds or something like that.
Reprobate. That's That's shit. I'm gonna draw in a blank.
I forget. I think it's Roman. I'm not sure.
So reproach is the root. Reproach is like basically be held accountable. If you go, it's another part in the Bible to talk about the self-accuser spirit, right? But it has to be developed, and in the process of developing, you would go through what's called a reprobate mind state. You know, you still got to develop. Nobody's born knowing how to navigate Earth, right? Even if they is, they're not mature enough to navigate all parts of the Earth, and they have to be re-educated, because with the change of times, you have the change of certain things within the society. You got different societies rising and falling throughout the cycles of life. Right? We eternal beings, but what you gonna do for eternity? You have to find something that's gonna make life more interesting than just living in paradise forever. After a while, that shit gonna get boring to you,
Yeah.
right? So now you want to live on the edge. That's why good girls like bad boys, right? Because the bad boy brings out the highest aspect of the danger pursuit of man, and it's alluring and seductive to women, especially sheltered women, what we call good girls, right? But they turn out to be the best big mamas because they gonna have the hardest life of the women because they gonna always pick the wrong motherfucker to date. And then when she ready to settle down, her body gonna be so wore out from eating processed food, she gonna look like a duffel bag. And now she gonna be frustrated that she ruined her life chasing bad boys, and she gonna go through the mean phase, right? We call that the bitter old woman syndrome. When she
And Paul.
when she going through the mean phase, she's also burning on the inside, right? Because this is passion burning and it's burning the impurities off. So when she get past the mean stage, and it might appear she never got past it, but when she get past it, you'll know she passed it. She still might talk to you mean because a lot of big mamas gonna cuss your motherfucking ass out. And then tell you to come sit your ass down to get this plate, and you better not leave before you finish eating. Right. So she got past the burning that caused her early onset menopause, right? And made her become disenchanted with men, right? Then she become an old nun, right? And then she get her black gown because she's part of dark energy now, right? And but she's the best teacher because she's had the most experience and the most fuck ups. And we don't want to hear it because she sounds so mean. But she telling us the 100 raw and uncut, no sugar added, just straight bitter truth. Right? And some of them learn to use some savoir-faire or put a little pizzazz or some tact to it. But some of them like, fuck it, I'm not finna add all that jazz and shit up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell your stinking ass right now, get your funky ass in the shower, make sure you wash between your ass crack and you wash your balls, you smell like a motherfucking herded buffalo. He'll just flat out tell you, and baby, and when you get done taking your shower, put the guy.
Oh, man.